got a talkative co-host too. So
Yes, I do know that for sure.
yeah.
I was just getting into my second hour of work today, and I looked down, and my phone is ringing with Russell in big Apple font.
Yeah,
And I'm
huge Apple font.
Huge Apple font.
Colossal.
And I'm just like, what does Russell need right now?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
I was just saying, hey, at 8 a.m.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was busy.
Right.
And so I didn't answer.
I almost called you at 7 a.m. when I walked out the door this morning. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would have been your first call of the day.
Oh no.
How many?
Would not have been, but.
What? How many phone calls do you make in a day?
I don't know, like
non-work phone calls.
Non-work phone calls. That's a loaded question. Why would you ask me that? How many am I excluding calls to you?
No, I count. Yeah, just any phone calls you make.
Any phone calls?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me look at how many phone calls I've made.
Oh yeah. You got the history. You can see it.
Yeah, let me. So for phone calls today, 7 non-work phone calls were made today. Yesterday, let me check here. Yesterday, a Sunday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 on a Sunday, of which you were one of them.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. And on Saturday, let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 on Saturday.
What the heck? I
make a lot of phone calls, Gavin.
Well, when you first said 7, I was like, I probably make 7 phone calls a month.
Gavin, you receive 7 phone calls a week
from
me.
You.
Yeah.
But
you're averaging 28.
Yeah. I mean, my whole work day is a phone call essentially because I work remote, so I'm always in meetings all day. But
it doesn't sound like you work remote. It sounds like you work telephonically.
Yes, I work. My office is Microsoft Teams for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but 17 in one day, Russell.
One day, yeah. In one day, Gavin.
Who molded you into this sort of being?
There was a summer that I did cold calling for a company. I worked many jobs in my life, whether it be in high school, in college, post-college. But yeah, one of my summer jobs in college, I juggled 2 jobs. One of them was doing cold calling and also working at a club. So those were
Do you go to clubs a lot?
No, I only ever worked at one.
Oh. Yeah. So the calls wore off on you, but not the clubbing.
The calls was when I was juggling the day job.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gavin, I've spent much time on the cell phone telephone. So there you go.
Clearly. Yeah. Well, I guess that's Gavin. The episode interviewing Russell today.
That's right. Gavin, no episode's complete without this.
All right.
My hair is parting like the Red Sea today. It's all like wavy.
I think you did that.
Not on purpose. Well, I do the middle part on purpose, but like it's all wavy. I need to redo it. I'm not going to though, so enjoy the show.
Right. Yeah. You say that as though anyone other than me is going to be staring at it for that long. So
Well, the streams, since we do live streams, the live streams stay on YouTube after we're done. And
You know what? You're
so
right.
people can see me on
They
YouTube.
could see you. They could see the parting of Gavin's non-red hair.
Why would it be red?
What?
Oh, because the Red Sea. I was like, what are you talking about,
Right.
red? Yeah.
I gotta move myself over. It's like not quite a center part either, as I'm like trying to get a different angle looking at your head. Yeah, could you twist your head for me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need
Oh,
to
that's
get out.
rough up there.
Yeah. No, I gotta get out like my ruler and everything, get my like a laser level. I don't know. Yeah, that looks off center to me.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, my camera's off center too. I am angled facing the camera to be straight on. And also, I do a head tilt. Yeah, I don't know. My neck's weird. I don't know. It's all the years of sitting.
Gonna get into like lens distortion or something. You're gonna sound like the Twitter accounts that argue whether or not VAR was right.
He was onside. The technology says he was offside. It's pretty clear. You can see the lines. The lines are wrong.
Yeah, the lines are distorted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why we don't have to worry about that here in MLS. We have no lines.
That's my take.
Which means
I want
no lines to cross.
I want no lines, but I want better camera angles somehow. Because the offside camera angles are terrible.
That's a fact.
And so if it's a close offside, it's calling the field every day of the week. Even though if you were to take the lines out, maybe it's an offside goal, maybe it's an onside goal, and the goal should have stood. That sort of thing.
Maybe.
So.
It's hard to say, Gavin. Some would say it's impossible to say on account of the fact that we don't have the technology. So there you go.
I will take the goal line technology, though.
Yes.
All day, every day, sports on Sunday.
There's got to be at least like one instance a week where we constantly are saying, "Oh, if we had goal line technology," I'm not so sure about that. That looked in.
That happened a couple times on week 1, I want to say, or week 2, where I was like,
Yeah. It happened this past weekend too. I remember I sent something into the group chat. I don't remember what match it was anymore. I remember I cared about it because I think that was on one of the bets that I had made, but
didn't matter in the end.
In the end it didn't.
Well, it must have been the Austin St. Louis game.
Could have been, yeah.
Wasn't in the Nashville Galaxy game.
No.
Unless I missed it, but I don't think I did.
No, I did. I think you watched that one much closer than I did because that was at the same time as the match that I was at in person. So I was unable to follow that one as closely, unfortunately.
Well, we've been live for, I want to say 8 minutes now, and we haven't
8 minutes and 22 seconds.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Hey.
Welcome to the MLS Now podcast.
That's right. It's me, your host, Russell. You can find me on social media at Mr. Danger Russ. You can find this other lovely, wonderful host here, a guy weaving his head back and forth. He's throwing up some signs with his fingers. I don't actually know the name of what you just did. Is that like the surf sign?
I think so. Or you like phone me, but it's usually like super dudes.
Gavin, not only am I phoning you, I'm calling you with my face as well. So
I'm
doing you one better than phoning.
You're facing me.
Yeah, I'm face calling you. So I don't think there's a better word for it than that. Yeah. But you can find Gavin on social media at LionsBlog1. And as always, you can find the podcast on social media at MLS Now Podcast. And you can find us online as well on the website at www.mlsnowpodcast.com.
Hey, what did we say we were calling this title again?
Resetting expectations. Because Gavin, let me tell you, right? I would like to say that I understand what happened this weekend, and that would be a lie. I don't understand what happened this weekend. I just every prior that I thought I had reset, I apparently haven't reset because I was still blown away by some of the results, a lot of the results, for that matter. I was right about Portland, though. I think we've got that prior right for NYCFC, but we'll get into that, Gavin. Before we get into it, though, do you want to talk briefly about Champions Cup with there being like 8, 6, 7, some number of MLS teams are still in Champions Cup.
Yes, I would love to talk some Champions Cup. We haven't really given any airtime to Champions Cup, so I think this week's a solid week now that we're getting into leg one of round of 16 is in the books now. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so I think just high level Champions Cup teams. If you want to look at the standings, right? Looking at teams that entered in like initially, we're not going to include teams like Miami that get a bye through that first round. But let's talk about teams that made Champions Cup. Philadelphia, they made Champions Cup. They're in 11th place in the East. Cincinnati made Champions Cup. They're in 7th place in the East. Orlando made Champions Cup, 13th place in the East. I think New England made Champions Cup as well, didn't they? But wait, or they got knocked out already?
New England? Oh my gosh, were they in the Champions Cup this year? No.
You sure?
No, they weren't. Am I losing my mind? I don't think they were. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. My bad.
Yeah.
Yep. They made it through the first round.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing, and they won 4-0 against Alajuelense.
Right.
Alajuelense, 4-0.
Point being, Gavin, New England's place in the table, 15th in the East, below even New York City FC, which is questionable in nature, let me tell you. So, and I mean, you look at, again, you got the West had St. Louis. They're in 4th place. They're actually okay. Vancouver went out right away, and they are in 5th place. So, again, it's very weird. This Champions Cup timing where teams are going into the season, they might not fully have their teams set. They've not really had time to build up any synergy, any match fitness. So it's weird. It's very weird. But overall, I mean, how many MLS teams are doing well in Champions Cup, would you say? I mean,
the bulk of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Vancouver, obviously they went out early, but they went out to Tigres. I think that's a respectable opponent to go out to.
Right. Orlando may go out to Tigres as well.
May, yep. 0-0 draw in the home. So we got to go away and at least get a score draw to get through, or penalties after a 0-0. But what I was going to say is there were no upsets this year. No upsets. Even the first games for a lot of the teams were on the road. Nashville went away to a country where teams could struggle. Some of those smaller countries. We've seen teams struggle in the past.
Looking at you, Austin.
Yep. Philadelphia went away to Saprissa and fought really hard in a tough game and got a win. Orlando went away to Canada, got a win. Cincinnati, I don't know who you're playing. Where were they?
Jamaica.
Yeah. Jamaica, another smaller country where some teams could struggle. Got a win. So, there were no upsets. And then Houston and St. Louis obviously played each other, and, it was just like a standard fixture at that point. So I think MLS has been doing really well and really asserting their dominance. Even, New England, who have been terrible in MLS play, we just called out that they won 4-0 in the round of 16. So it would take a catastrophe for them to not move on at this point. So far, so good.
Yeah, I think perhaps your only real concern is when you get past the round of 16, where do the MLS teams fall in that case? I mean, I think you'll have Miami going in post round of 16. No. They played Nashville already.
They played Nashville. Yep. They were 2-0 down, came back. Some controversy in that game. I don't know if we want to get into it.
TBD. TBD on
Okay.
controversy. That's
Okay.
I don't want to like relitigate the calls, right? Because
But I think we're
I feel
gonna
like we've been doing
lose
that a lot.
I think we're gonna lose a decent amount of our MLS teams here in the round of 16. I mean, Orlando and Tigres tied 0-0. So
Yep.
Orlando's going away to
Advantage to
Tigres.
Tigres. Yep.
Advantage Tigres. Orlando can still get through, obviously, but home team's usually going to go through in that point. Same exact scenario with Philly and Pachuca. Pachuca are home. Pachuca have been really good this season, so Philly are going to have to go through that. We're losing an MLS team automatically between Columbus and Houston, no matter who goes through. Same with Inter Miami, Nashville, and then New England will go through against Alajuelense, and then or Alajuelense maybe. And then Cincinnati are away to Monterrey, losing 1-0.
Right.
So we could go
Missed
into the
opportunities for them.
quarterfinals with a pretty rough-looking crew.
Are you saying that about Columbus?
Hmm?
Are you saying that about Columbus? A rough-looking crew?
No, just like in terms of numbers, just sheer numbers. I mean, we could be down to Columbus and Miami and New England
Yeah,
when we started
could.
with like 8 or 9. So, yeah.
But
But as
I
you
mean,
were,
that's at that point though. You have 8 teams left, and MLS could potentially be at the minimum nearly half of it.
yeah, that's fair.
So is it that rough?
I would want maybe one more. I'm being
Right.
I'm
If we're
being
being greedy.
greedy, yeah.
Mhm.
But having 4 of the last 8 would be ideal. Yeah, I would love an
Fair,
all
fair.
MLS final one day, either this year or next year. I would love an all MLS CONCACAF Champions Cup final. That'd be great. So, I was gonna say something and I don't remember what I was gonna say, but
Are you
okay.
going to predict Miami to win Champions Cup?
No, I don't think they'll win Champions Cup this year. They got their Leagues Cup. I think they'll get knocked out. Not sure about who. Haven't looked at the bracket in a little bit, but
Well, they're playing Nashville.
they are playing Nashville. I think actually they're on Orlando City's side of the bracket, but I don't think we would meet them in the quarters. I think we'd meet them in the semifinals if we were to get all the way up there, which means I
Wow.
think Inter Miami and Columbus, if they were to get through, if they were to get through to the semifinals, I should say, would eventually face each other. So I think they're also on opposite sides of the quarterfinal bracket. So a lot needs to happen to get to that point, but I think that could be the case.
Right. And
do you have a preference of who you would want to win out of the MLS
FC Cincinnati.
teams?
Yeah, FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Is that too biased, Gavin, considering I live in Cincinnati?
That was a dumb question. Okay, non-Cincinnati, who would
Dumb
you
question
like to
gets a
see
dumb
win?
answer.
Yes.
I don't know. Not New England, because I don't want to see Caleb Porter succeed. He bothers me as a coach. I don't know many people
Same.
who like Caleb Porter.
Same.
And yeah, and I guess not Miami, because I feel like there's 2 lines of thinking, right? Is if Miami wins, people are gonna go and be like, Messi, the GOAT, the super team, Super Friends did it again. They won Champions League, but they're all in their mid-30s, such a weak conference, yada yada yada. Like, it would be good for visibility. I think it would be bad because there would be a narrative about it. Maybe I wouldn't mind Houston, but
I don't mind Houston either. I
don't
hate
think they
playing against
will.
this team, but Philadelphia, they have just come so close to success so many times, and they just cannot grab it. It'd be kind of cool to see them finally get over that hurdle. They've been in MLS Cup final, MLS Cup conference finals. They made semifinals of CONCACAF Champions League last year and got knocked out. I would love to see them get over that hurdle. They've got a long way to go, of course, but that'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely. No, that's a good shout. I think I would be hard pressed to disagree with you. I think I'm all right with that. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, if Cincy goes out, we're all in on Philly.
Yeah. Agreed.
When Orlando goes out, you're all in on Cincy. And when Cincy goes out, obviously all in on Philly.
Bingo.
There we go.
I like how you
We
said
figured it
when
out.
and not if.
Oh,
for Orlando.
my apologies. Gavin, in the extremely unlikely event that Orlando were to move on, then you could continue to root for Orlando. Otherwise, your support for Cincinnati is appreciated.
You're a dickhead for that one.
I couldn't pass up
Yeah,
that
yeah,
opportunity.
whatever.
It's really good. It's great. Any other thoughts on Champions Cup before we shift to talking about the matches themselves and kind of just plowing through it? Because I'm looking at the timer, right? It's 21 minutes and we've just been jabbering away here, which is very on brand for us.
Yeah.
Gavin, over under, are we doing another hour 45 episode?
There's no way we're doing another hour 45. I missed a couple
You
games.
said that
this
last
weekend.
time, so
I missed a couple games, so there's no way.
Gonna hold you to it. All right, final thoughts. Go ahead, throw them in.
No, yeah, no final thoughts. Sorry. I just want to see more MLS teams get through, but it's what it is.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Let me just real quick matches for CONCACAF Champions Cup. I'm pulling them up right now. You've got Columbus, Houston tomorrow, Pachuca, Philly tomorrow, Tigres, Orlando tomorrow. That being Tuesday, the 12th. In the off chance that you're listening to this at any time after Monday, that tomorrow will mean nothing. March 13th, you got Miami, Nashville. If you're only following the MLS clubs, there's other teams happening, but MLS specific. And then finally, Thursday, March 14th, Pi Day, you got New England playing Gavin. What's the name?
LD Alajuelense.
All right. And then you got Cincinnati, Monterey. A very late kickoff, 10:15 p.m. Eastern time.
Ugly.
That's
Yeah.
brutal. I'm going to be struggling on the 15th.
I'll be struggling on the 14th, on the 13th.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. It's a late one at 10:30.
10:30, yeah.
Absolutely criminal in nature. So, all right. Very good. Gavin, let's talk MLS. First, let's revisit. Did you win any money? You get any of your pick three right?
Well, one of my pick three got suspended, Philadelphia versus Seattle.
Nice. So you had a pick two, and the results?
Orlando City lost, so I got one leg.
All right. And the second?
LA Galaxy tied in Nashville. Yeah.
A shame.
It was unfortunate.
Absolute
so I took a
shame,
fat L this weekend on thanks to Nashville somehow pulling out a draw against all the
odds.
Against all the odds, even though the odds were actually for Nashville, but the actual odds. But Gavin's odds says in the middle of a Champions Cup match week against one of the hottest teams in the league thus far, you're going to rotate. You're going to have eyes on Champions Cup, and LA Galaxy have been really good. Galaxy are going to come in and beat Nashville, who have been terrible in the league. No, of course not. No, 2-2. They were 2-0 up. They probably should have won the game. Could have lost it right at the death as well. And, yeah, very unfortunate for the wallet.
Yeah, well.
How'd you do?
So I got to tell you, I cashed out a number of my bets ahead of time. So some of the bets that I had that I cashed out and I made some money on, I cashed out on a Portland Timbers LA Galaxy result, which was not the one that I locked in, but I cashed that out. I made some money there out on the back of Portland Timbers. I cashed out a Portland, Toronto, and St. Louis. After watching St. Louis for like 20 minutes, I was like, nope, they are not winning. Cash out. And I made the right decision on that one. And then I think Yeah, I actually won a Portland Timbers Toronto, and that made my money for the weekend. That was $45. So yeah, I did all
I
right.
only made 20 on that game because I didn't put too much down, but I did the same one. And then I cashed out early on my 3-leg. That became a 2-leg because of the circumstances. And I used that dollar that I got back, $1.60 I got back. And I bet on Montreal when I found out that Messi and co weren't playing. And so I got some money there as well.
There you go. Using your noggin, Gavin.
Yeah.
We're getting better at this. I
Yes, we
think
are.
we've learned the lesson, the takeaway from last week is MLS is still volatile, and we're going to talk about some volatility coming up in these next segment here about the matches. But
Absolutely.
also, sometimes you just got to go with that assumption that a team is not going to something tells you, you look at it for 20 minutes, and you're like, that is not going to happen today. And you roll with it, because when a team comes out looking flat, listen to what they're telling you.
Yep.
So,
agreed.
All right. Well, Gavin, let's dive into probably the very nice surprise for both of us on the weekend. Portland winning over New York City FC. It was an absolute, complete, at the death, snatching victory from the jaws of a draw. New York City snatching a loss from the jaws of a draw in reverse. What was it? Like a 90+8 winner for Portland. It was unbelievable. I loved it. Big fan.
And it was an absolute banger from Evander. Man, oh man, what a goal. Yeah, NYCFC, I don't want to say oddly, but I'm going to say it, oddly looked pretty good in this match. They started off the match pretty well. They were dominating the game, lots of chances. Couldn't really put them away. Finally got one put away. And then it became tied 1-1 near the end. I think it was 70-something minute when Anthony scored.
85th.
85th was the first goal? Was it that late? Wow.
It was that late.
I thought it was earlier than that. And then all of a sudden, Cushing just really dropped in, really had his players come back deep and try to secure the draw. And yeah, just left a little bit too much space for a quality player like Evander, and it was curtains.
What? No, we're not talking about Philadelphia right now.
Right, my bad.
Right. It was no cushy ending. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I never doubted them for a second.
Oh, that's a good one. Well done.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Portland, I think they can count themselves lucky to get away with how they started the game. But how much, I feel like we ask this question every season, multiple times a season. How much do you just put that down to Yankee Stadium?
Yankee Stadium tax is big. It's important. I almost wonder if I count it more on NYCFC and their tactics and inability to really manage a game, more than maybe saying, Portland had this great tactics masterclass. Both their goals came extremely late when legs started to grind down, when you get that good, you get the good late goal, right? And then that shift in tactics is honestly what allowed Portland to get the second one. And I don't know why teams decide to just let off the gas and play so differently right at the end of matches. And NYC is not the only one to do this. Columbus prolifically does it, and they give up and drop points all the time because they don't see out matches. And I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's not a good look for NYC. Certainly not.
No, and I know their fans are pissed.
Yeah,
Coach they had one good. They just, there's been multiple instances where they've looked good in patches this season, and it's oh, okay, and then they don't take advantage, they don't score, and then when they don't look so good, they do concede, and it's just happened multiple times at this point. It's gotta suck being a New York City fan right now. So feel for them.
Yeah, it's tough. I know the feeling of just not being able to get any result at all, no matter what seems to happen, no matter how good things are. So, been there, done that. Don't feel great for the fans. So,
yeah,
figure it out. The NYCFC front office. Hashtag probably Cushing out is, I think, where you have to be getting close to. But
I think we've said that every time we talked about NYCFC for the last 20 episodes. But here we are.
Yeah, here we are. He's still in. So, Toronto win over Charlotte. Toronto have not conceded a goal.
That is insane stat.
They're 3 matches in. Toronto sitting on 7 points, 3 matches played, 2 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw, 0 goals allowed, a grand total of 2 goals forced. It's not exciting or thrilling, but we know some teams that are all-time greats that have chance, 1-0 to the Arsenal, and a 1-0 win is still worth 3 points, just as much as if you win 4-0. So,
yeah, I watched a bit of this game. Again, I was really impressed with Charlotte. That's what I came away with. There were times in this match where Charlotte were the better team. They were the ones, pressing and forcing Toronto to turn the ball over. And I don't know. I just came away impressed with them. And then something switched. I don't know what exactly it was, but Herdman maybe made a change or something. I didn't really catch it. But Toronto started to really amp up the pressure, really start to get some more shots off. And finally, Insigne, I mean, just like Evander, it was almost a picture-perfect goal. Again, just a quality player, getting the ball in the back of the net. And
that's what he's paid for.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's what they're paid for. Is what Evander was paid for, and Insigne.
$15 million for.
Yep. Yeah. And if he can start doing that more consistently, then Toronto definitely are going to be one of the better teams in this league. And he's delivered for them thus far this season. And interesting, I saw that on the celebration. Maybe you saw this too. He sprinted right to John Herdman.
Yeah,
jumped into his arms.
I would have to say, I've been extremely impressed with Toronto. Not necessarily for the offensive side of things, but just how organized they looked. There is, in the match with Cincinnati, in their match with Charlotte, in their match with who did they play in week 2? But the one that, point being, they've looked extremely well organized. I mean, there's an identity, there is control of the midfield. They seem to understand how they want to play against each individual team.
Didn't Toronto play Cincinnati in week 2?
Oh, yeah, maybe they did. Who did they play in week 1 then?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally interrupted you. You're making a good point. I'm sorry.
Gavin. That's okay. Look, Herdman is doing really good things with Toronto, and he's doing it with largely the same impact players that were present prior to him being there. So I think it speaks very well of Herdman. I think it was a good hire by Toronto so far. At some point, they're going to concede a goal, but if they are this defensively organized, that's a strong team. I mean, if people don't score on you, you're not going to lose. You might not win, but you're not going to lose. So, anyways, Toronto, stocks rising.
Yep. Toronto faced Cincinnati week 1. You were correct. They faced New England week 2, 1-0 win on the road.
Yes.
Insigne winner, I believe. Week 3 was this last week. So
right. Insigne winner as well.
Yep. So there we go.
Man, what a hero. He's earned 6 points for them.
Yeah. Doing what he's paid to do. All right, on to the next. What do we got next?
We're paid to do, Gavin. We're going to talk about Columbus, Chicago.
Oof. All right, I'm going straight into it.
You and I are going to
Chicago.
have different takes.
We're gonna have different takes?
We're
Okay.
going to have different takes.
Chicago fans have to be so frustrated with the amount of times they are dropping points from winning positions.
All right, we had the same take.
No, okay, not winning positions, but just like late goals. Late goals. Philadelphia scored in the 90 plus 3 minute. They dropped 2 points there. And then they drop a point here in the 90 plus 10 minute, right at the death. Really, really unfortunate. And I just feel for those fans because this is something they went through last season. So it's just a continuation and got to be frustrating.
I agree-ish, but I will say, Gavin, while maybe the results are a continuation of last season, the process of getting there, now it's see out your matches. But Chicago look competent. Kuipers is a
Yes.
threat. He's making good runs. He looks dangerous. You have Shaqiri actually kind of maybe having people he can play the ball to now, again, with Kuipers. You have Kellen Acosta, who is just factually an improvement for their midfield, and we know midfield is an unbelievably important part of every single team in MLS. If you have a bad midfield, you have a bad team. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think there's any good team that has a bad midfield, but I think there's a lot of bad teams that have a bad midfield. So, yeah, I mean, the improvement is there. Weirdly, despite retaining Klopas, and I know there was some concern around retaining Klopas, but again, Chicago look like they have an idea of how they want to play. It's very weird to see so many teams improving year over year with minimal changes in personnel and maybe even hiring or retaining coaches that we thought maybe shouldn't be retained. So, Gavin, are we really as smart as we think, or maybe we don't actually know anything about soccer?
I
Is it
think we
us?
know.
Are we out of touch, or is it the kids who are wrong?
It's definitely the kids who are wrong, not us. We are also out of touch. They are all true.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, have Chicago really improved though?
Results wise, technically no.
No.
But I just watching them, they are a better team factually than they were last year.
Yes, I agree with that.
And I still think they will surprise some teams throughout the season. But or who knows? It could be that maybe every other team in the East makes this conference remain that buzzsaw that we said it was going to be, and maybe Chicago, for being better, still finishes towards the bottom of the table, and not for lack of being better, but because everyone else also got better by the same amount, or at least stayed better by some margin. So
it could be that. I mean, this could also just be what is it? Outcome bias? What is it called?
confirmation bias,
Confirmation bias,
survivor bias,
outcome based analysis. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Because they were 1-1 with Columbus until 100 minutes into the game, away from home. Look, obviously it's CONCACAF Champions Cup week, so you can do some give or take there. But overall, I agree. Chicago have looked more impressive this season than they have in the past, but they're lacking the results still. And no matter how good you look as a team, if the results aren't there, you're going to eventually lose faith. Players will eventually lose faith. Coaching staff will eventually lose faith. And then from there, it's a downward slide. They have to start getting results.
I will say, Gavin, consider their first 3 matches are away to Philadelphia, hosting Cincinnati, and then away to Columbus. The probably 3 teams that you would say are the strongest 3 teams in the East right now. 2 of which were on the road. And one of which was hosting the Supporter Shield. So I mean, that's
Good
I don't
point.
know if you can have
Good
I don't know
point.
if you can have a worse starting schedule from a difficulty standpoint because now they've got Montreal, New England, Atlanta, and then they kind of stabilize with like Chicago, Red Bulls, RSL, Atlanta again. But I'm just saying,
I hear all
we're
those
down.
games though, and there's only a
Yeah,
few that I could see them winning. I could see them competing in most of them, but I don't know. Based on recent history, it's just I don't see them getting over the line. Let's focus on Columbus, the winners of the game.
right.
Props to
If we
them for
must,
getting through it. For some reason, I thought Mo Farsi got like a season-ending injury or a long-term injury. I
yeah, I
swear I
thought
saw
that
a
as well.
headline with that, but he's obviously back on the pitch and scoring goals for them. So I must have just dreamt that or something. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
right at the death.
could have been that it was just like a 2 or 3 week injury and they just played it coy. Who knows?
Yeah, I swear I thought I don't know, maybe an Instagram post or something. I don't know. But I know Pablo Ruiz, I saw that Instagram post. That was devastating to see. Um, as for this though, I mean, props to Columbus for pushing the whole entire time. They actually scored a 98th minute goal that was ruled off for offside. And then a minute later they got a quick throw in. They go up the field and score, and it's just that's the stuff that good teams do, right? You Chicago did switch off for a moment, and Columbus punished them swiftly.
Yeah. Well, like Columbus are a good team, so there you go. Like I don't know what else to say there.
Yeah, no, we can move on.
All
Here's
right.
a game we didn't watch this weekend: Philadelphia, Seattle.
Ooh, nice. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, not
You want to
much,
talk
just
about
the
you want to talk about
storm,
the teams, the way they rolled out their lineups, the
the jerseys. The
yeah,
jersey
the
looks good.
jerseys, the water. Look, it was a lot of water. That was an insane amount of water.
Yeah, it
If you have
was.
not seen the water, go back and find footage of this match. I'm sure they showed it on MLS 360. It was an unbelievable amount of water. I don't think there's any field in the world that would have handled the amount of water they got. How do I do, Gavin? Did I cover the match adequately, would you say?
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Sorry, I accidentally pressed the X button, and you know how if you leave, you ruin everything. Luckily, our hosting software stopped me, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that."
Stop. I
Yeah,
know, Gavin, that
yep,
this
yep, yep.
podcast, you dedicate a lot of time and effort and you want to go to sleep, but I implore you to please not hang up on the podcast right in the middle of recording.
I would never do that.
It sounds like you almost just did though. So
I did almost just do that, but it was a mistake. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought I saw something where there was some controversy around this game. Did you see anything on that? Or no? Okay. I thought there was something controversial around this game being postponed. Something on the Seattle end or whatever. I'm looking real quick at Tannenwald because he's pretty good at his job. And I'm not really seeing anything. Oh, well, this is a lot of USW and NT stuff. So, okay. Well, we can move on.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's move on. Let's talk instead about Atlanta versus New England. The steamrolling. Gavin,
That was a great game.
It was a game. It depends on which team you were rooting for.
Okay, for 28 of the fan bases in MLS, that was a great game to witness.
Agree, yes.
It was just fun. It was just like the goals were really good. That third goal from Giacomakis, dude.
Yeah.
Come
He's
on.
back.
Come on. What the heck? That's insane
Absolutely
technique.
back.
With his left foot arrowed into the top right. Man, that was gorgeous. New England actually, probably similar to NYCFC, New England started the game again really well. I think they hit the crossbar. They had a good chance down the right side. So they had like 2 or 3 chances to open up the scoring. And then it's just pure quality from Atlanta's number 9.
Yeah. Hey, here's a really, really cool, fun stat. New England, you remember their position on the table, right?
Are
Last
they
place.
bottom? Yeah.
Yep.
I was about to say, aren't they bottom?
Carl's heel, second most key passes in the league already, 3 matches in.
Second most, key passes?
Yep. Second most key passes.
Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah. I mean, somewhere in there is a team that could probably get results, but
Well, yeah, I mean, the story around them has been the bust that is Vrioni, right? I mean, they're obviously missing Gustavo Bo. They
Right.
lost their they lost Buxa a couple years ago, and they haven't been able to replace him.
Yeah. They need a striker to pair with heel. Because otherwise that dude's going to retire. Although I guess he's just signed a new long-term contract, so maybe will they get a new striker before he retires? Though I don't know. Will they ever get another striker?
Well, obviously, yeah. Maybe.
Fine.
I could see them ditching Vrioni and getting a new striker this season in the summer. I could see that happening.
100%.
Hey, we've got a question on Atlanta in the chat. And it's about transfers in the summer. So, will Almada, Wiley, or Giacomakis get a move in the summer?
I could see Caleb Wiley getting a move in the summer. I don't think Giacomakis will go. I mean, just he's doing so exceedingly well in the league, and he's kind of at that age spot where I don't know if there's any big Euro teams that are going to try and entice him to join over Atlanta. Like, he's probably at peak capacity in terms of like star power, earnings, just like you're in a good spot right now if you're Giacomakis. Almada is the one that I've got a big question mark on because it seems like Atlanta are only going to sell him if they get that big offer. Because we know there's been offers for him and he remains in Atlanta. And something tells me that they're going to say, no, you meet our number or you don't get Almada.
And they have every right to do that. I don't see a team hitting that number.
Yeah.
He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But Europe cannot afford to spend that much money on a risk. I mean, MLS is still viewed as a risk. I mean, Pepe went for that much to a team battling relegation, and he's on loan away from that team right now still, right? I mean, he barely played for them. He didn't impact at all. I don't even remember if they stayed up. I doubt it.
Georgi Mihailovic came back.
Mihailovic came back. I mean, MLS, we've made a lot of strides, but it's still a risk, unfortunately. And so if you're asking for 20, 25, 30 million, only the Premier League can afford that on a unknown quantity.
And really, I would almost say, like, you're probably looking at one of 6 teams in the Premier League. Like, Sheffield United is not going to spend 25 million on a transfer fee for Almada because their total payroll last season was like 26 million. They're not going to spend that much. And that's the vast majority of those teams. Otherwise, they'll be sitting in financial fair play hot water. And it seems like that's actually being enforced now.
Yeah, right. He's a good player. He's a really good player. One of the best in this league. I struggle with the price tag, though.
Yeah. Caleb Wiley is young enough that I think there will be a team that goes for Caleb Wiley because he's going to be looked at as a value type player. He's an unknown quantity that shows really well, but
and speed.
But doesn't have the renown or name attachment, or like, he wasn't part of the World Cup winning squad. Like, there's nothing in there that would artificially boost his price.
Yeah. Yep. And teams love fast players. I mean, look at Manchester City and Jeremy Doku. That dude is not very good, but he's fast. So
yeah, Adama Traore made a career out of being an extremely fast player that never scored.
Yep, exactly. So, okay, good stuff. What's next?
Well, we're going back in time a little bit. We skipped over New York Red Bulls versus Dallas.
Oh, okay. New York Red Bulls versus Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a New York Red Bull win. It was 2-1.
Yep, 2-1. Okay, my bad.
I felt like we were running back to a better time, because guess who's on the score sheet? Lewis Morgan.
Lewis Morgan. Yeah.
We're going like 2 years back. So, and then, you had Forsberg getting their second goal their first goal, and then you had Jesus Ferreira. It's like you're running back the clock plus Forsberg. So honestly, this result doesn't surprise me, actually. Dallas, I've been kind of low on this season, and I recognize that maybe some of this is a holdover from prior season, and you have players that missed entire parts last season due to injury, and you're still working your way back. And who is it? Is it Nico Estevez is their coach, right?
Yes, they still have Estevez. Yep.
Yeah, and he hasn't necessarily wowed me or done anything where I'm like, whoa, like, what a coaching masterclass. So yeah, I don't know. Like, Dallas just feel like a team that's a background team right now.
Yeah, and they're in this 3-back formation, which is new to them, and I think it's just due to the players they have. I don't know if this would be Estevez's preferred formation, but it doesn't seem to be working nonetheless. And they're using, Areola at wingback, and it just hasn't looked great. That's the role he's been given. And then they have Sealy on the other side, and he's an okay player, but he's nothing amazing. And when you have a player like Areola, I would want him as close to the opposition goal as possible. I would want him up on the wing, right wing, up in that space. I wouldn't want him playing right back in defensive moments. So hopefully this is a temporary move, because it's not working for them. They've been one of the most disappointing teams in the league thus far.
Yeah. Where do they sit right now in the standings? Hold on.
I think they may have a win.
Yeah, they have a win and 2 losses. They sit in 9th, which tells me, is it that rough at the bottom in the West right now?
Well, here, this just says it all. They had 0 big chances in this match, 0.8 xG, and if you were to look at their kind of like average position map, pretty deep into their own half. Pretty deep in their own half. Yeah, it was obviously they weren't sitting super like on the edge of their box, but you would want to be a little bit higher than they were in this match.
All right, Gavin, do you want to move on to talk about something really exciting?
Yes.
The 2-2 draw between Orlando and Minnesota, as I keep telling you.
2-2 draw, yeah.
It was not actually a 2-2 draw, unfortunately.
Yeah. We've got news for our listeners, for our Orlando City fans. Okay, I'll be quick. Orlando City scored the fastest goal in their history as a club and lost the game. Mm-hmm. A lot of it I pinned down to, we scored. We're feeling great. This was this was Orlando City's 10th anniversary game. So it was like a big occasion. And so they showed out for the big occasion. And we scored, and then Galese with a terrible error a couple minutes later, just cleared the ball straight into Pookie, and the ball falls kindly for him. He runs onto it and scores. That ball could have hit off his knee and flew into the stands. It could have gone right past him, right through him, but no, it fell perfectly. And so 4 minutes into the game, it's 1-1. And I think that was really important for Minnesota in this match because we were flying. We scored and then we had another chance right after that. That pegged us back. And then it was 2-1 Minnesota. We lost Araujo to an injury. He had to come off the field. And there was some weird communication and we were down to 10 men. Not an excuse, but it doesn't help when you're down to 10 men and it's not like a red card situation. So someone's just like covering, but like not fully covering. Like they haven't switched their full position. And Pookie gets into the spot like right where Araujo would have been. And no one was there. And he gets a really good goal. But overall, I mean, other than that, Orlando looked good. We created a lot of chances. I think we had like 3.8 or 4 XG created in this match. And the ball would not go in. I mean, Felipe had a point blank shot. It bounced up on him and he shot it over the bar. Duncan kind of switched off and he thought the defender was going to clear it on a cross. Well, the defender missed it. And so the ball bounced off his shin and missed from point blank range. We missed a header from pretty close. It was just like nothing we were doing would go in. Duncan eventually got an equalizer and Halongwane came on and just some poor defending. And that was that. I mean, they get through on goal right through our middle way too easy. And it's 3-2, we lose. Minnesota, we're good. What was that?
Right at the death, too.
Right at the death, man. That one hurt.
90 plus 6.
That was one of my 7 call-outs of the month. I called Russell and was just like, dude, I gotta I gotta cry. I gotta get this out.
Yeah. Gavin wasn't even home yet. He wasn't even to his car yet.
I was walking to the car. Yeah. I just needed but
hanging his head. And I at the time I had already switched over because I had assumed that at like 90 plus 4 that this was gonna end 2-2. And so like I had answered the phone for Gavin and I was like, 2-2 draw. And Gavin's like, I've got some news for you. I was like, no way.
Yeah. Man. And then there was some skirmish at the end and there were some punches thrown and Rosales and Cartagena both got retroactive red cards. So that was great to see as well. I'm not too upset. I mean, when you create 7 big chances on the night, you're doing pretty good. 4 XG is what I'm looking at here on these stats. So it is what it is. On to Tigres.
On to Tigres.
But I was going to say quickly. I was going to say just quickly, Minnesota. I mean, sorry, I've been impressed with them this season, but they had some things fall their way in this game. I'll just say that. So, okay, go ahead.
You don't sound bitter at all. I'm glad you were able to really
never
stay level-headed on this one. We're going to roll right over to Austin, St. Louis, and let me tell you, that was a flat-looking St. Louis team for the first half, and I'm glad that I cashed out on that because they did not win this. I expected them to win this, and it took, I would say, a heroic Pompeu goal and like the stoppage time, 3 minutes of stoppage time, a lot of stoppage time goals this week, a huge number of like game changing, point shifting stoppage time goals.
That's saying this league, man.
Yeah,
that's just this league.
Especially this week. Really weird. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, Austin were the better team for vast stretches of this match, and that was very weird to me because I've also been pretty low on Josh Wolf. I was saying, I think in our group chat, that I thought he was going to be the first coach to get fired this year, and I mean, we'll see. It's early days. It's way too early, but yeah, it's always a very odd thing to see. So like I said, the big note to me was just St. Louis was very flat. They didn't look like themselves. They didn't look like they had any real way of stopping Austin. And I know St. Louis likes to really press high. They like to be very aggressive. And yes, Gavin, we've talked about it where they're maybe kind of shifting to be a little more reserved. Look at that mid block, kind of shut down the run of play. And Austin tends to thrive when you give them possession. So maybe this was just a matchup where St. Louis shifting their play style kind of goes right into the way that Austin normally like to possess and build with their style. So it could be that as well. But this is another one where I felt confident going into the weekend that I knew this result. And I, again, just didn't know this result at all. So
home slant, man. You say it.
home slant. Yeah.
Home slant.
It's not even a home slant. It's a draw.
Yeah, but, for the way Austin have been playing, that is slanted towards their favor.
So
yeah. I mean, I didn't see this match, so yeah, all you on that one.
Yeah. Hey, here's a really fun stat. Austin, with their 2 goals, they had 4 shots on goal, 6 shots overall. So pretty effective. And then you go over to St. Louis, and it's like 19 shots, 11 shots on goal. Still took them until the 93rd minute to get that equalizer. So
beautiful sport this is. A beautiful sport.
Wild, but I have no idea what's going on with MLS anymore, Gavin. I don't.
Hey, that's why we are resetting
resetting expectations. I don't.
And you know what the title was last week? Setting expectations. So we set them, and now we're resetting them.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
Crazy start to the season.
Team.
Yep.
Yeah. Gavin. We're talking about resetting expectations. Colorado with a win over Salt Lake.
On the road. Big win.
On the road.
Big win. Yep.
Yeah. I'd been very bullish on Colorado all season. And this is the 1 week that I was like, you know what? I'll take a pass on Colorado this week. And it's like the 1 week that my faith in them would have been rewarded. So
yeah, I only caught the ending stages of this match. So I don't have much to say other than RSL were pushing and just couldn't break them down. But I didn't really catch the bulk of this game.
Yeah. I mean, it stopped me if you heard this before, Gavin. 4 shots on goal, 4 shots in general. Every single shot was on goal from RSL.
Really? Wow. They must have had a lot of blocked shots. There's only 4 shots in the game. Wow. At home against your rival. Yikes.
Not ideal. Too. Yeah. So,
how much?
A lot of 56% possession.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a lot. I mean, it's like a 10 point swing. So anyways, hey, I'm gonna take us to Vancouver versus San Jose because Vancouver gotta win. You know I love a Vancouver win. Love a Vancouver win.
I did see this match. Vancouver were nice, steady, solid. Didn't really give up much. Now, it's against San Jose. That's not saying much. San Jose looked really bad. They looked very bad. They didn't look like they could create anything. Their tactics were not aggressive enough. They couldn't keep the ball. The players themselves, very, very bad is all I can say. I won't be betting on San Jose anymore anytime soon.
Avoid San Jose, avoid NYCFC.
Yes, for sure. But pick the team that's going against them. Vancouver looked good though, and they scored that good goal. I mean, they didn't look great, but they looked good enough.
Yeah.
Got the goal from outside the box, then picked up another one near the end, and nice professional performance from them.
Yeah. Vancouver for me, they turned it on at the end. They actually looked like they deserved it by the end of the 90 minutes, but first half was, I don't want to say it was like a nothing half for me, but I was not optimistic at the end of the first 45. So I'll leave it that way. They missed Vanni Sartini on the touchline there. And they still have what, 3 more matches, I think, before they get him back in MLS? Because he had like
Yeah,
a
I think so.
Yeah, 6-match suspension because of his comments. So
yeah, I mean, look, it wasn't a very engaging match. That's for certain. My wife and I were kind of chatting about whatever while the game was going on, and I was just like looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down. It's just like, this game's kind of boring.
Wow, that's very dismissive of our favorite team, Vancouver.
Our
favorite team, Vancouver. Yes,
that's a strong word.
Mm-hmm. It's the word that I'm going to use. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Hey, you want to talk about a riveting 0-0 draw? Los Angeles.
Didn't watch it. Didn't care to watch it. I turned on the last 5 minutes. I was like, okay, let's see if anything crazy happens here at the death, because I was watching San Jose, Vancouver. And it just, again, from those 5 minutes, I was like, wow, this game looked boring. This game looked like nothing happened. I did see some commentary around LAFC starting Oliveira in the center forward spot. And I think we saw that work against... Oh, no, we saw Bogusz work against Seattle. Oliveira worked in their other game, I think. But, I mean, from what I gathered, he had a really poor game. And it was just... I don't know, maybe you watched it. I didn't. I heard it was boring, though. And 0-0 kind of justifies that.
Yeah. No, I stuck with Vancouver the whole way. I flipped on part way in like the end of the first half, and I was like, I don't think this one's for me. Which is, it's weird, right? Because like SKC was on this weird hot streak at the end of last season, but I also recognize that's the end of last season. Like we were supposed to reset our priors. So anyways, I flipped it back over to Vancouver, and I was rewarded with 2 goals. So
yeah, I guess Galaxy that would have been bad. I guess LAFC did have a couple chances.
They did. Both teams had chances, but
I think I do remember seeing a couple of highlights of chances, but
yeah, I know I saw Amelia make at least 1 good save.
Okay, there we go. But if you want to make a fun game, you got to score.
Right.
That's them's the rules.
Those are the rules, and that's why we're going to talk about another not fun game, which was another 0-0 draw, Cincinnati versus DC United.
Are you?
Frustrating game. Cincinnati should have scored. Done. That's honestly that's the biggest summary that I can give. Is this was a wasted match for Cincinnati, where they had plenty of chances. They had, Bupenza was in front of goal. All he had to do was slot it to either side of the keeper, and he hit it at the keeper's chest. We kept getting into the final third, into like all these dangerous, threatening positions, and then no one wanted to do anything with it. So the fans were really frustrated. There was, and I don't think this was directed at the players. I think this was just a general like frustration boo at full time, and I think part of that was towards the referees. And this is definitely one where the ref was more frustrating for the fans as well, making a lot of very inconsistent calls, as well as just getting it wrong on things like the DC goalkeeper went to go save a shot, didn't save the shot, went out of bounds, was given as a goal kick when it went off the keeper. And the fans didn't like that. And that was one of many occurrences where it's just getting a blatantly wrong call. And I get it, it happens, but it built up. It was not a good game from Cincinnati. DC United, I think, will be more than happy with the draw. They had plenty of chances. If they had Benteke in this game, DC probably gets the win.
Yeah, they've really been missing him, haven't they? got the hat trick first week of the season, and I don't think we've seen him since.
Yeah, hey, Cincinnati has still conceded 0 goals from the run of play, 2 clean sheets, and you know how we talked about Carl Seal having the second most number of key passes? You want to guess who has the most number of key passes?
Luciano Acosta.
Yeah, and Cincinnati has still only scored 2 goals all season. So, not great, honestly. Yes, Cincinnati's still in Champions Cup, but they've had the chances. They should be up. They should be sitting on 9 points right now, and they've not been clinical. So, they need to figure that out. DC, honestly, like, the chances are still there. I think when Benteke's back, they're going to get some more wins. They just need the guy who can finish these chances they're creating. So, honestly, Cincinnati probably lucky to get a draw on that, with DC missing some chances and Cincinnati just not having an idea to finish. So,
very good, very good. All right.
Yeah. Hey, Nashville Galaxy. It's another draw, but at least this one's 2-2.
I hated this match.
Heartbreaker of a match. A wallet hurter of a match for you and I, who both relied on a Galaxy win, and they should have won.
This was definitely our lock of the week for sure. For a plus odds, and we didn't get it. It was a good match for the neutral. Started off all LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy. They were the better team. They dominated the possession. They got a goal called back they got a penalty first. Penalty saved.
Yep. By the foot.
Which is the second penalty they've missed this season. And then they had a goal called offsides on the ensuing corner. And from there, it was all Nashville.
Yep.
All Nashville. They were dominating. I think we go into halftime 0-0, though. And then coming out of the half, all Nashville, 1-0, 2-0. Galaxy look like they don't know what they're doing. And then Galaxy turn it around, 2-2. And it's like, what the heck? Nashville don't know what they're doing. Don't look like they know what they're doing. Nashville could have scored at the end. Galaxy could have scored at the end. I mean, it was just an insane game. And the whole time I'm sitting there like, come on, Galaxy, come on. And they just couldn't do it. So frustrating when you have money on the game. But in terms of just the match itself, it was a very, very fun one. And not one you usually see with Nashville. Usually they're the boring games. So
yeah,
that was fun to see from Nashville.
I agree with you. I couldn't have summarized that any better. I love when matches are like a tug of war. And this felt like a tug of war match where you're like, oh, Galaxy got this. And then you're like, oh my gosh, Nashville are going to do it. And then you like have your hands on your head and you're like, Galaxy are going to come back. They're going to win. And then it's like it ends in like this sort of weird, you didn't get any gratification either way, but it's really fun the process to get there.
Yeah, I would have loved like just 10 more minutes of this game. Probably would have ended 3-3.
Honestly, yeah. This game could have ended anywhere for either team. Maybe, Gavin, hot take, was this the most enjoyable match of the weekend?
I mean, probably, yeah. Of the ones that I watched, it was, yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. And we're going to take this as our last match. Miami 2, Montreal 3. Both of us also thinking this was a lock for Miami. Messi rested. Montreal, big 3 points on the road. Huge 3 points on the road.
Yeah, not many teams are going to get 3 points at Inter Miami this season, especially if they're not resting their guys. But completely understandable that they were resting their guys for CONCACAF Champions Cup. And I guess Messi's out hurt. Or they're lying and they just said he's hurt, so they're not taking the responsibility of he's actually available to play, but we're not playing him. and that means we might have to give refunds, sort of thing.
Right.
But if he's hurt,
Yeah, he's hurt.
he's
Can't do
hurt.
anything
I mean,
about
that could happen. It's unfortunate, but yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're on to you, Miami. We're on to you. Yeah. Did you see this game?
No, because I was not home yet.
I didn't see it. All I saw was the miss. The miss that has
Misheard
gone
around the
worldwide.
world. Yeah.
Yes. So unfortunate that we both didn't catch it, but looked like a fun game. So maybe this was the most fun game of the weekend. But I'm not going to speak on it because I don't know what happened. And I haven't even caught the highlights either. I just haven't had a chance.
For shame on both of us, Gavin. Truly.
Yeah. Oh, well, it happens.
This is the least messy content you're going to get from any MLS related show this week. That's
We
it.
didn't even watch the game. Yeah. So.
and he didn't play in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yep. All right. Cool. Did
There you have
you place?
Oh, no, I didn't. Let me look very briefly, Gavin. Walk
All
me
right.
through what you're thinking right now, and I'll pick something while you're
I
going
did
through.
place. I am not sure about them, but they had decent odds. And of course I gotta sign back in. Oh man, we are just all over the place here. You're trying to place.
Really,
I'm trying to sign
really
in.
good podcasting.
Yeah.
Amazing podcasting.
Look,
oh
I was
my
logged
gosh.
in. I was logged in earlier. This weekend's hard. This weekend's really hard.
I have got to tell you, I see one that I think's a lock already.
Okay. I went with mine's already in.
Okay.
I'm not very happy with it, but MLS gonna MLS, so we'll see what happens. Dallas at home to Vancouver. Minnesota at home to LAFC. I'm riding the Minnesota train. And under 3.5 goals in the Nashville Charlotte game. I didn't know what else to pick. So I picked two teams that aren't scoring a lot recently, and I went with under 3.5 for them.
All right. What's your total odds on that?
Plus 597.
All right. Gavin, this week, I could have a serious edge over you. I've got a very confident pick here. I'm going to take Toronto over New York City FC.
I struggle to pick any team that goes to Yankee Stadium. I really struggle.
Toronto have allowed 0 goals this season. NYCFC are dreadful.
Okay.
I think this is another safe one.
I think that might be one where you're losing this weekend. I could see
not.
NYCFC getting the goals this season that they've been missing.
Maybe they'll do it next week.
Okay.
And then I'm taking Sporting Kansas City over San Jose.
Okay, that's fair.
Always bet against San Jose.
Always bet against them right now.
And then, we're going to go for another one of these, FC Cincinnati over New England Revolution. So the worst team in the East and the worst team in the West. And I'll tell you right now, Gavin, there's some favorable odds for FC Cincinnati.
So what's your plus on this one?
Plus 2107.
What? What?
Plus 2107, Gavin.
I would put $10 on that.
I put $5 on it. Possible payout $110. So
damn. I might have to place that just cause. I might steal that. Because if it does go,
that's great value. Yeah. And honestly, I'm confident in just about all of those. So
I wonder if that's the same on mine. I guess Toronto being away helps.
Toronto away is plus 375.
I struggle. SKC at home. And what was the other one? Cincinnati away.
Yeah, Cincinnati away.
Yeah, mine's around the same. Damn.
Yeah, it's a good one, right? Can you believe I did that on the spot?
On the spot, bro. You're probably going to lose, though. I'm telling you. NYCFC are going to ruin that for you. I'm telling you right now.
Mm-mm.
It's happening.
No. NYCFC are going to go 0-4, guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we were way under hour 45 this week. Doesn't help that I missed a couple games. You missed a couple games too.
That's right.
Anything
Honestly,
else?
it does help, is the thing.
Yeah, it does. That doesn't. I'm not sure why I said that.
I don't know. Maybe because it's, as of the time that we're recording this, almost 10:30 p.m.
Yes, that is exactly why.
Your mind's going loopy. You haven't had any coffee in ages.
Oh, I don't drink as much coffee as you. I'm not a psychopath.
I'm not a psychopath either. I'm just horrifically caffeine resistant at this point. So.
Yeah. Hey, we've had some people watching pretty much the entire stream, so thanks. Really appreciate it. Someone just said hi before he heads to bed, so we are doing well. Hope you're doing well too, Wickerman. Thanks for sticking around, hanging out. And yeah, we're here every Monday, 9 p.m. Come hang, talk MLS, come chat with us. And thanks to all our correspondents. I forgot to ask for Correspondence Corner this week, so I'll make sure to do that next week.
Bad
I know.
podcast host.
The head shake of shame from you, Russell. You can find me at Lions Blog 1, Russell
right.
at Mr. Dangerous, and podcast at MLS Now Podcast. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
I think that's it. Gavin, till next time.
Till next time.